Okay, this is our Mobility Wednesday, and you see this? This is simply a dysfunctional mop or broom handle. Okay, I put some tape on it for, so there was no rough edges. Hi, Chrissy, I see you. All right, so of course I'm barefooted. This is Mobility Wednesday, and I have to make a correction. Sometimes I get things backwards. I know, I think in my head what's correct, but when I say something it's backwards, that's typically how dyslexics work. Anyway, I typically have called this a non-compliant surface. See this balance, the little 2-inch balance foam right there? It is a compliant surface. I mean, call it non-compliant. Non-compliant is this floor. Now, this is a little carpet that's still a little compliant. I'll tell you what's very compliant. A cement floor. Here's your bar, here's your little pad, and here's a weighted ball, and then we'll use a chair off and on. But what I want to do first to get you warmed up is I want you to stand on your little pad barefooted, okay? That's one. Number two, the minute you stand onto it, soften your knees and rock into your wide open toes. Don't squeeze your toes, okay? So I'm pressing into my toes. Then I soften my knees, I drop my shoulders, and I go into my heels, almost until I pick up the ball of my foot. Okay, so this is a very nuanced type of a move. It's a great move to get warmed up with, okay? But if you are on a compliant surface like this pad, which I thought that's what I was calling it correct, but it's the opposite is what I want you to know. So this little pad is a squishy pad. It could be a squishy pillow. And do you see what I'm doing? I'm merely rocking front to back right now, okay? Now we're gonna go side to side, but I got my little bar right here. See my little swimmy bar? And that's actually what I'm gonna start doing. See this? I'm gonna go into my toes. I'm gonna say rib cage up, tuck in my chin, then I'm gonna drop into my heels. And I'm gonna keep doing the swimmy move. It's not high, okay? It is not high. Now, why is something like this so important to people who really wanna get going and rip and roar and do this and that? Because this is going to help you warm up the structures. It's going to help you gain your balance. Do not be surprised if in the process of doing this kind of rotating, lifting your heels, lifting the balls of the feet, rotating, don't be surprised if you get just a little off balance and you have to step to get your balance back. That's part of working on a disc. That's why I encourage almost everybody, but especially if you know that you tend to have balance issues, there's a lot of people, I have several that I know that come on into class that might have had stroke or a mild stroke, okay? Working on a balance pad is a very, very good thing to do. However, you've got to be safe. So you need to be able to put your hand on a wall, on a chair, put your pole down, so you have a third point of contact. And that's the beauty of using poles. It gives you another point of contact balance. So as I'm rotating so my knees are bent, that's very important here. If your knees aren't bent, you're doing this straight-legged, you're gonna have some weird moves and it could strain your back. So I want to stay upright as I rotate heel to toe. And I want to go enough to where it almost makes me get off balance, okay? Now, if you're thinking, oh, I got this handled, no problem at all. Number one, don't go fast. Number two, check your lineup. Your ear should be over your shoulder, should be over your hip, should be right down, coming down into the knee. Yeah, that's the lineup. So say rib cage up, you keep going. Okay, now as you're doing this and you want to up the ante, I would encourage you to start to gently turn your head so that your chin actually is kind of getting over closer to the shoulder. Now, are you going to be able to do that? I know very few people that can actually do that. Okay, but here's what you need to avoid. As you're turning your chin, avoid the temptation to do this. See how I'm lifting my chin and going over? That's what you don't want to do. You want to keep it tucked, go as far as you can, then bring it to neutral, then go as far as you can. Now, while you're doing that, I would challenge you, only if you feel comfortable doing it, shut one eye and keep rocking. Heel to the midfoot, heel to the midfoot. Close one eye and then close the other eye. It's going to be very different every time you change it. Okay, couple of them. You want to stay on there for maybe, I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. And then we've been on here for at least 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah. So now I'm going to go side to side. See this? This is the one that lots of people forget. And this is the one that, especially hikers, anybody that wants to keep their ankle good. But if you've ever skied or actually hurt your ankle, okay, this one is a real important one to do. See how I'm doing this? My knees are soft, my rib cage is up, I'm holding on to my bar, I'm going all the way as far as I can. I'm going side to side, just like that. Yes, yes, yes. Take a big breath, take a big breath, take a big breath, big breath. Now I'm going to stay on this and start to push my butt back, and I'm going to bring this thing forward. So I'm going to come tight tummy. I'm going to come forward. My ears are right on either side of my arms. And now, right now, I want you to drop your butt. Bring those arms down with the pole. Straighten your legs for just a few seconds. Take a big breath. Drop. And then come back up. Okay, we're going to do that 2 more times. So I'm on my non-compliant surface, right? Lined up. I'm going to start my fold, kind of a high squat. I'm going to just come right down to it, just a nice neutral, like a middle of the road squat. That's not deep and it's not high. My arms are out there. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. Hold it. Take a big breath. Hold it. Take a big breath. Bring those arms down with the pole. Put them across your toes. Straighten your legs until you feel a stretch. Well, I'm going to stay here for a couple seconds, then come back down and come up. Yay. We got one more of those, but I'm going to give you a second. Don't put your head down too long. And everybody knows, you know, hopefully, which moves you need to be cautious on that because it can get your blood going down there. But we only do it for a few seconds. Now, before I go one more time, I am going to step to the side. Okay? Just like that. I'm going to come back up. I'm going to step to the other side. Just shift into that. Back to neutral. I'm going to go walk, 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 walk. Step, squat. Bring it back in, step, 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 step. To the other side, come back in. Last one now, you ready? Here we go, line yourself up. It's gonna be a high squat. Make sure your feet have at least 5 inches between them. You're gonna come down, bring those arms out over your head. Big breath. The ears are between the biceps. Hold it there, neutral. When I say neutral, I mean your head is in line with your butt. Then you put your bar down over your feet and you stretch the backs of the legs. On how do you stretch me? All you do is straighten them. Take a big breath, bend the knees, come back and come up. Yay. Then I'm going to turn around here. I'm going to put one foot back. I'm still on the pad. The foot that goes back, see, I'm holding onto the bar here. I'm going to take the foot that goes back, that hand is going to come up over the head. Okay? Now, notice, I'm not going straight up. I'm going over. Okay? Over. So now you're pressing on the back toes gently. Gently. And I'm acting like this is a step that I'm taking. But I'm really hanging out here for a few seconds. Take a big deep breath. Now, plant the back heel as your hands going over the head like this. Okay? Then you come back to the toes. You lift your heel, in other words. Then plant the heel again. Okay? Push back into the toes. This is the back foot. This foot is trying to maintain balance for you. Okay? Stay rib cage up right now. Do not over lean forward. Okay? Put that heel down. See, my arm is over the head, stretching all through here, working my back extensors. Then I come down. Just do this twice. Take a breath. Step back into that pad. Switch hands with your pole. Okay? So I'm gonna step back. See, I'm on my toe. So when you step back, you don't drop a hip. You step back and you bend this knee so you're pretty level. You take this hand, instead of going straight up with it, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go over the head, just like that. And I'm stretching this back leg now. Okay, you ready? Drop the heel. Okay, then come back into the toes. Keep that hand going over that head. Drop the heel. Take a big deep breath and come back up. And step right there. Yay. All right. Now here's my little chair. Okay, I'm going to be down on it in a minute because I'm going to do some specific things for foot recovery, especially when you got really tired feet and they held your whole body weight and walked you around all day. But before we sit down, we're going to take this pole. We're going to put our hand right here. Okay, right here, just like that. I'm going to bring my hand out with my pole over the chair back. Okay, so if this gets like too much, do two things. Bend your elbow, keep it up there, or rest it on the back of that chair. Okay, so I got my one hand here. I'm reaching out. The hand that's reaching out, you're going to take the opposite leg and bring it back behind you. Okay? So my supporting arm bent. I'm reaching out. I'll lean it on the chair if I need to. Then I'm going to reach up with that heel in the back. Take a big deep breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. You're gonna bring the heel up with a straight leg. You're gonna reach out with that hand that's got the pole. Bring it back. So it's gonna be reaching. You're gonna point, flex, drop down, push. We're gonna do these a couple times. Way out with that hand, point, flex, and then way up with the heel. Way up. Breath, breath, breath. Now don't put it down, don't put it down. Bring the heel to your butt and go pump, pump, pushing the bottom of the foot up to the ceiling. Then you're gonna bring it down and bring it down and bring it down. Then you're gonna put the bar right there and you're gonna reach through the chair. Put your head between your arms and just push into the heels and lift the toes. Push into your heels, lift the toes, stretch. You're pushing your butt back. That's what you're doing. Then you come forward. Take a big deep breath. Come up. Here we are. Check your line up. Ear over shoulder, shoulder over hip. Say rib cage up. Okie dokie. So change hands. All right. So here's my little bar. And remember I said 2 things. If you've had shoulder issue ever, this is gonna kick you. So I'm giving you 2 really good modifications. My supporting hand goes on the seat chair. My extending arm with a pole. I can either do 2 things. I can rest my hand right there on the back of the chair, or just bend my elbow up, okay? Now I'm gonna put this toe back, okay? So now I've changed. So now I'm gonna go reach out and I'm gonna lift the back of the leg with the heel leading. And it's a press up. And it's a press up. Remember, you can bend your elbow, drop it, okay? Do a little modification, but stay with this. Your supporting leg is bent at the knee. Breath, press. So you're pressing it up now. Squeeze. You're lifting with that heel. That's a straight leg lift. Keep it going. Keep your elbows soft. Breath. Breath in through the nose. Breath. Press, 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 press. And don't release. Bring the heel into the butt. And go up. 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 Bring it down. Bring your hands to the back of the chair. Press your butt back. Well, yay. You should have just loved that. Take a big deep breath, really pushing back with your butt, hanging on to the chair, back of the chair with your hands. Yeah. Take a breath and then come back. Okay. I'm going to turn. I'm going to set. And I got my little weighted ball here. Okay. Now I'm going to do some things sitting and I'm going to do some things standing. Okay. But if you tend to have very painful feet, you got to start taking care of your feet, really taking care of your feet. I mean, foot soaks. I mean, scrubbing off all the dead skin cell, which it proliferates as you have your birthdays. You see what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? See this? I'm leaned in. I'm leaned in just a little bit. Because why? Because I want to push. I want to push and roll. Okay? Listen. Get you any kind of a ball, any kind of something that you can push against. It could be a can. Okay? This front to back motion, you can do with any can. All right? When you get used to doing this, you just won't go without doing it. It helps your foot pain so much. So remember this, okay? So as I push in, I'm pushing down gently, not hard, and I'm rolling. So I'm getting a little compression, and I'm going to the ball of the foot, and then I go all the way open. See that? Then if I want to, I can go from side to side, which is always a good thing to do. My foot is just a little bit in a dome position, okay? And you roll that thing. See, I'm still pressed in here. My rib cage is up. So at the same time that I'm working my foot here, I'm working my back muscles, okay? So you say rib cage up right here. You lean in a little bit. So that means you have to scoot back a bit, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna push down as I roll the ball, okay? And I'm gonna do it several times. So as you bring it back, you're leaned in a bit, you're pushing into the ball of the foot, and this is a soft, kind of a weighted ball. It could be, if your can is too hard, just put a tea towel over it, okay? Get used to doing this rolling action, okay? I mean, you can pay lots of money to have this, you know, somebody do this with your foot, but man, you can do it for free. Just get yourself some kind of a nice, you know, ball of some sort, and roll on it. See how I'm pushing in and I'm pushing back? And when I come to the middle, that's not a no man's land. Come to the middle, you are doming your foot. See how I'm pressing my toes down and my heels down? This is in the dome. Then I go to the heel and I bring that toe up. Then I roll back and I'm pressing gently. Yeah, back and forth, back and forth. Then you go from side to side, side to side. And you just roll those ankles back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Now a very important move, especially on Mobility Wednesday. And somebody might say, why are you doing that on today, Jeannie? That's strength training. You're supposed to do that on the other days. Well, if you have wonky hips, if you tend to stand and walk like a duck, you want to try to do these types of presses. I'm going to use my weighted ball. Now, if I don't have a weighted ball, I could use my little Killa. Okay, that's a really good one, but this has a little squishiness to it. And so I'm hanging onto it here. I'm going to go up onto the balls of my feet. I'm leaning in a little bit, and I'm going to push really hard against the ball. As I do that, as I push in really hard, you bring my hands right here by the side, palms are going up, okay? Palms are going up. Do not roll forward with your shoulders. Drop your shoulders, palm up. Now press really hard on that ball, okay? Press really hard, press really hard, press really hard. Hang on to it. I'm trying to get you to press really hard for about 15 seconds. So I'm not gonna count. I'm just gonna bring these up. Drop your shoulders, say rib cage up. Press into the ball, press into the ball, press into the ball, press. 3, 2, press, 1. And bring it back. I know what you're saying. Woo! Now, we might do that press again, and I might do it with this because I want to show you how important it is and how you can do it with almost anything. You can even roll up a tea towel just so you don't, you know, grind your knees together. So I'm gonna put my ball right there. Take a big deep breath. I got my little pad, right? Right? I'm gonna bring it right here. See that? See that? I'm gonna put it right there on my head. See that? Okay, don't think I've lost my marbles. I'm trying to gently move you into helping you line up. Okay, what I want you to imagine is, what if this were, I want to say at least 10 pounds sitting on top of our head, okay? It's not even 1 pound. So I'm gonna stand up and not lose this. Okay, now I'm gonna let you hold on to it a little, but I want you to think about what would you have to be doing with your head and neck and your body for that matter in order to stand up and not lose the little disc. Now I just put my finger on it. That's all I did. I didn't hold it. And see how I turned around? And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to take a few steps and I'm not going to lose it. Are you lining yourself up very differently so that you don't lose this? My guess is yes. Okay, well, hold that thought. See how I'm slowly taking one step and then I take one step back and then I take another step. Okay, just take one or two little steps. See, I'm going to come back, adjust it if you need to. All right, it's right on top of your head. Okay, I want you to pretend that, yeah, it's a throwback. What's it a throwback to? Remember all the olden time posture exercises that teachers used to do with their students? Well, they work. I am telling you, you will walk differently if you walk as if you were balancing a heavier weight on your head, like they do in Africa, India, a lot of different places where the women, especially the women, usually are the ones that are the carriers. I'm telling you, this is one of the best things you can do on a regular basis if you want to help stand straighter. You can instantly take at least 5 years off the way you look by standing up. That's fully within your realm of control, or not. See how I'm doing this? See, I'm just keeping my knees soft, and I'm really different whenever that I'm thinking that I don't want to lose this load. Okay? You start to walk very differently because you got to line up. Now, truly, your ear has to be over your shoulder has to be over your hips to hang on to this. And don't just put it on there and say, oh yeah, I can do it, and then take it off. No, spend a little time. I'm doing this whole thing with you for a reason. I'm telling you, this is a very, very good thing to start doing, and I'm not harming your neck at all. Now, when you start to put a little bit of a load on there, I wouldn't even attempt to do that if I didn't know you were really perfectly lined up. And there are some of us that maybe that's not going to happen. We have different issues, but you can give this a shot. Now take it away, okay, and just walk. Okay, you see the difference? Oh my goodness. And this is just this little tiny thing here that you can practice at, okay? So I wanted to take the time to do what's going on up here and what's going on down here as far as mobility. It's huge. And I'm going to encourage you to again, start taking care of your feet. You got, get some Epsom salt, soak your feet. If you don't want to do it yourself, go get a pedicure. You got to keep scrubbing all those, you got cells, you got pores in your feet. If they get blocked, you think you have something like a corn. It hurts, okay? Now, here's my chair. Now we're gonna really use this. We're gonna go here. I'm gonna step away from it. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna come back down. I'm gonna drop my knees and drop my shoulders. Do that again. Go up on your toes, drop to your heels, stretch through your shoulders. Now your hips come close to the chair, drop your shoulders, and bring those knees down. Drop your shoulders, don't let your shoulders come up to your ears. Hang out here for just a second. Come back. Big stretch back. And then come forward with the hips, bend the knees, drop your shoulders, and really hang out here for just a second or two. Okie dokie. Take a big deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Don't let them come up. Drop your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. Then bring them back. Now bring one foot into the chair. Okay. Now I got one leg back. Okay. Now I'm going to stretch through that calf. Then I'm going to bend the knee a little bit and go into the soleus. And then I'm going to go down to the floor. Some of you are not going to be able to do that. That's okay. Just bring your knee down as far as you feel you can. Okay. So what I'm doing here with the assistance of this chair is a really important series of motion. Okay. So right now I'm going to tighten in my tummy. Okay. Got my hands here on my chair. I can push down on it. I'm going to push gently into my toe and really hard into the foot in front. So I'm going to go press and come up. See that? Yeah, I know. We're going to do that again. Bend. Now, if you can't go all the way down, you will get great benefit if you just go as far as you can. See? And then come back up. So if you don't want to go all the way to the floor, number one, drop your shoulders. Rib cage up, drop the knee as far as you can, and then come back. But when you come back up, you want to press on that front leg. Right there is what I'm trying to get some real contractions going. So I'm going to go down just because I can. If you can't, don't worry about it. You go as far as you can, correct? Now I'm going to come up. I don't want to do it fast or anything. If I need to come down a little bit more to give me a little push, I will do that. I will just go like that and lift up, okay? And I'll do it just a couple times, which I did. Now I'm going to come forward. I'm going to switch legs, okay? So here's the test I gave you the other day. It's the first part of this. This is called the runner stretch, but it could be a walker stretch too. Your knees should touch the chair as you push your butt back. If your knees are pushing the chair, that means you are not pushing your butt back far enough, and you're taking your knees out over your toes, which I don't want you to do, okay? So this is just a little test of if you're folding in a correct, much safer for your joints position. If you're coming into here and you're pushing the chair, that's not what you want. You want to touch the chair and your butt goes back, okay? Then I'm going to put the other foot back as my knee is up here at the chair, okay? So now my heel is trying to get down. You're going to be tighter on one side than the other, especially if you've had a knee replacement. Yeah, you're going to find it out right now. So tight tummy, drop your shoulders, breathe in through the nose, out through the nose if possible. Hang out here for just a second before you bend that back leg, okay? And while you're getting ready and you're holding here to let it stretch, check the position of your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrist, your hands, okay? Yeah, just check them, make sure they're lined up good. My elbows are soft, and when I soften them, I want them pointing at me, not pointing out. I don't want to flare them, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and bend the back knee and get that soleus into a nice flex position. See how I'm just bending the knee? So anybody that does a lot of, like what Judy's gonna do, hiking, this little thing that I'm doing right now, pay attention, because this is gonna be the secret to keeping your Achilles tendon flexible, viable, because what am I doing? I'm bending that back knee gently. Then I'm trying to straighten it, putting the heel down, pressing forward, bend the back knee. Yeah, it goes into that soleus, into the Achilles, right into the plantar fascia, okay? Now I'm ready to go on down. See, I didn't even think about it until I did all that other. So see, I'm gonna come down, and again, if you can't get down, it's not a big deal. Go down as far as you can, and now I'm gonna come up, and I might put my hand on the floor and my chair to just stay in good line, press, and come up. But you can get great benefit by just going down and coming back. You do it slowly, you do it gently. You don't have to do tons of them, just a few. Take a breath, come back, take a breath, come back. See, I'm just doing it as if I can't go down, okay? If you can go down, well, by all means, go down and press yourself back up, okay? Use whatever you need to keep in good line up position. And then you take press up and come up. Yes, and then come forward. Take a big deep breath and just come forward and come up. So you're out of the fold. So again, a lot of people really and truly think that they're doing a proper squat. You will not know until you take this test. See how my knees are right there? When I go into my squat, see, make sure your feet are at least shoulder width apart. Push your butt back. Your knees should not be pushing on the chair. Okie dokie. Okay, real important one here. Even if you have a weight vest on, a backpack on, you can push yourself up to, I don't know, a tree or a car or a fence and lean into it and just do this. See this? See this? So if you're walking a long ways, you want a few positions that you can get in to help relieve a lot of pressure, okay? So when you bring your leg up, let's pretend I have a backpack on and I'm leaning up against a tree. My knee is soft. Just bringing this up and then leaning in is going to help relieve a lot of pressure, okay? Breath. So here I go. See, I bring that up there like that. Just lean in gently and come back. Okay, so it's just a gentle move. You don't have to do a lot of them, okay? A lot of times you're not going to get on the ground to relieve some back discomfort. But you could sit on a bench or a log or a tree or maybe a car. Anyway, let's say you have a bench and you're going to sit there. You can even still have your backpack. Hopefully you've taken it off. Seriously, drop from side to side. See this? I want to stay forward and then I want to drop from side to side. See that? So I'm just going side to side as I keep the trunk facing forward, okay? That's a kind of an important thing if you want to relieve some back pressure, okay? And when you drop your leg down, drop it down there as far as you can, and you're pushing this shoulder back. See, if I were with you doing this move, I would have my hand on your shoulder as your knees come over, and I would push you back as you push your knees down. Okay, say rib cage up, big deep breath. Yeah, just like that. Just like that, just like that, just like that. And back and forth like that really helps tremendously relieve pain and pressure from your muscle, in your back, in your hips, in your legs. Big deep breath. Yes. Here we go. Bend in, come back. So big consideration when you're doing a lot of hiking and stuff is groin, believe it or not. Okay. So whenever that you can, you sit down and you come out to the edge of your chair and see my legs are wide. Okay. I'm going to go down first, straight forward until I feel a stretch in the groin. Some of you are sitting back in your chair too far. Scoot your butt right out. Don't fall off. But now come down and you're going to feel the stretch coming right into the groin. Once you feel that, pick one, okay? Pick one and stretch that leg out and push against that knee as you're staying down. Push against the knee. I've straightened this leg out just a little and I'm dropping down in the drops. Take a big deep breath. Take a big deep breath. And when you come back, use your hands to help pull you back, okay? Now we're gonna go to the other one. So first, come down as far as you can. You start to feel the stretch. Now you're gonna put the hand on the inside of the other leg and see how I've stretched it out a little bit? Not a lot, but a little. Whoa, big stretch right in the groin, right there. This one move, I mean, there's a bunch of them in here that I'm putting in here today, but this one move, if you will do it, just gently, swear that you give it a chance to recover, okay? Just let it stretch a bit. When you come up from that, use your hands and come up off of that. Oh my goodness, your lower back is gonna just do somersaults, if it could do somersaults. Okay, take a big deep breath, wide. We're gonna go hula hooping, okay? So lots about hips and lower backs. When you're talking, doing gardening, when you're talking, doing anything on your feet, okay? And if you have hips replaced, if you have arthritis setting in, you got to move them, okay? So you keep your knees soft, you do a gentle press forward, back, all the way back, side to side, and then you reverse it, okay? So if you wanna loosen up a tight back, a tight hip, then your hula hooping is a big deal. We've addressed some of our hamstring issues. And now as we're doing that, gently turn your neck from shoulder to shoulder. Use every opportunity you can to do shoulder to shoulder, pressing out, back, and down. Big breath, big breath, big breath. Yeah, okay, step back in, that's our hula hoop. And now we do toe heel. Okay, so I'm hitting some very foundational moves that should be done at least 3 times a week. You don't have to have any big session to pick 1 or 2 of these and just say, hey, I'm gonna do that for 30 seconds. So what am I doing? Number 1, I'm barefooted. Number 2, my toe is touching the heel of my front leg, okay? I don't know what we're on, 3 or 4. Soften your knees. Say rib cage up. Or better yet, if you want to do this one and really change your posture, put that little disc on your head again. You don't have to, but if you do, it's going to be a challenge for you, okay? It's harder than it looks, all right? Because see, whenever I tell you soften your knees, see, if you're locking your knees, there's no way you're gonna keep this disc on your head. Once you put your foot over the other foot, you gotta keep your knees soft, you gotta keep your rib cage up, and that chin tuck is a real deal now, because you're gonna lose this if you don't do that chin tuck. See how I put my foot, my other foot, I just put it behind. So I'm just going over and back, over and back. My knees are soft. Now, yeah, you could go on a straight line and you could walk 3 steps forward, which would be fine. But you see how that you have to bend those knees as you're doing this. You have to keep that chin tucked. Big breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Okay, the rib cage is definitely up, because if the rib cage wasn't up, what would you do? You would lose this thing. That's what you would do. Okay? It's a huge difference in the way you move. Then you're going to turn. See, I'm going to pivot. I'm just going to turn. I'm just going to turn. I'm just going to turn. Then I'm going to pivot and turn around the other one. Okay? Around the other one, around the other one, around the other one. Now you can keep it on there and keep ambulating around, but we're going to go back to our little ball. Okay? And I've got my bar right here. Okay? So one of the best things I like to do with the bar is, of course, reach it with my knee. So here you got some ready-made, custom made to your body type and to your arm length, your leg length. You got it all set up right here. Because see, if you bend your elbow to 90 degrees and then you hold your bar and you don't break the wrist, see, I got some little cheaters out there that like to break the wrist. Marilyn comes to mind. I don't know if she's on with us today, but anyway, she knows. So here's my elbows, 90 degrees right here at my elbow, straight out right there. Okay. Then I'm gonna step wide. I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna say rib cage up. I'm gonna tap on that ball, and then I'm gonna bring that knee up to where that bar is. I'm gonna hang around here for just a second as it's touching. My knee is soft. That's holding me here. Yeah, you're gonna have to work at it. Bring it up there. Don't drop your hands if possible. Breath, breath off. That one pushed me over the edge. Okay, it's harder than it looks. Okay, it's just that we don't slow down and take the time to do some of these challenges, and they are challenges. And if you do them on a regular basis, it changes your brain. Okay, it makes connections. It's called proprioception, and it all happens up here. And yeah, you might have some other things going on that's challenging, but that's the biggest thing. That's why exercise, this type of exercise, weight training, this type of thing, any exercise, but especially this type, I'm getting ready to come on up with my other leg while I'm talking on this. Don't lean, don't over lean, bend, push your butt back, rib cage up, soften your knee. Okay, it's right here. I'm gonna bring it up now. I'm gonna bring this up, breath. So this side is much more challenging for me because this is my hip replaced side. So yes, I know I got Chrissy's out there that have both hips replaced. This is hard. Hold it out there, drop your shoulders, in through the nose, soften the knee, don't over lean, bring it up as far as you feel you can. You don't have to come up all the way. Just hang out here as far as you can and then bring it down and to keep struggling with it. Yes, keep fighting it. Breath, put your foot down anytime you need to. Okay, you're really pushing through that foot. I'm telling you, your whole foot, your whole calf, everything is really working right now. And bring it down. Struggle with this for 5 minutes. Do a 3 to 5 minute thing. You can do it when something's on TV that you're watching. Okay, just get you a bar and just line yourself up. Do a little bit of heel toe walking. This is typically tandem walking, or typically it's tandem walking, or it's a sobriety test. So maybe that's how I should load this one. I should say, Do you want to pass your sobriety test? Anyway, I wanted to do some of these very task-oriented, specific things with feet, with the ball, with balance, that pertains to hip. That's what I wanted to do today. So I'm going to put that bar down. I'm going to do one more big move before we get out of here. I addressed that groin issue, which it's a big issue. You don't hardly ever do that kind of real pressing and stretching of the groin, because usually people do it laying down on the ground, and you don't want to get down on the ground. So here I am. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go this way. See this? I'm trying to push my hip this way. See, my toes are forward, and I'm lengthening this as I go down into my foot. See, I'm going to the very side. And if you have gingerly hips, you've got to go gently. So I'm going to come right here. See this? This side's going to stay along. As I go down, this arm comes up. So I'm going side to side. So I'm just capitalizing on some of the very structures that we worked on: groin, lower back, hip. Just do it twice. Keep your chin tucked. Then you come back. Okay. Here we go. Press the butt back. Breath. And come back. Then you do your pendulum. Just do a little walk and a pendulum. You go this way. Okay. And when you need to loosen up, shoulders, core, back, just go like this. Then you can do your tandem. You can go this way, this way. And when you do this, drop your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. Don't go way up over them, okay? Big breath. Anyway, so I would encourage you, take care of your feet. It's a very important thing if you're going to be doing lots of activities on your feet. Give them a little break. I didn't mean that literally.